Big question. How can Bernie Sanders say that the nomination process is rigged against him when he keeps receiving preferential treatment? Okay, so for decades, Bernie's like, hey, I'm an independent. I don't like the DNC. I'm not a member of the Democratic Party. I'm an independent socialist and blah, blah, blah. So for decades, he doesn't want anything to do with the Democrats. He's not part of them. He thinks he's better than them. He shits on them every chance he gets. But he realizes what Ralph Nader never could. He's got to be the nominee of either the Democratic or Republican Party if he ever wants to be president. Trump realized this, and now a fire-breathing, mouth-breathing Republican, whatever you want to say. Basically, Bernie wanted to do the same thing. So he runs as a Democrat in 2016. They let him do this. He runs. The whole time, it's very clear that he's going to lose. And a lot of Bernie fans, talking about, oh, he's got cheated, he's been rigged. This is a little bit like bitching that the umpire made a bad call. Like, you're the Chicago Bears and you play the New England Patriots, you lose in a blowout, but it's the ref's fault somehow. It kind of gives the illusion that he's being cheated more than he really is. Basically, in 2016, it's very clear that he's not going to be the nominee from March 15th onward. He loses Virginia, Ohio, and Florida by huge margins. At that point, Hillary has to lose almost every state by a pretty big margin, just from a delegate standpoint, which is not going to happen because she's won a majority and people generally think she's going to be the nominee. The whole time Bernie's been saying, super delegates, if they swap it from me to her, that's the most undemocratic shit I've ever heard of. Then when it's clear he's lost the popular vote, super delegates should switch it from her to me, which is what the Electoral College did, and Democrats would have been cheated doubly. Then it would really feel like it was stacked against Hillary even more than it already was, which between the hacking of the DNC and his campaign using certain data that it found on her, and the Russians backing her, and James Comey fucking her over, and Julian Assange, and the fact that the media was going to not ask Trump any tough questions for about 6 months, and nobody took him seriously, and Barack Obama refused to weigh in, and he didn't do anything. So really everything went wrong for her. Let's talk about Bernie. So in 2016, he loses. Then in 2018, he runs as an independent. So again, any election where he doesn't need the DNC, where he can run as an independent and win, like being the incumbent senator from Vermont defending his seat, he's going to do that. 2018, he flops from Democrat back to independent, runs as an independent. And not only that, but he's going about making the DNC change all of their rules. He makes some limits, super delegates in their power, which they're doing that for him because he pitched a fucking fit about it. He wants Keith Ellison to be the DNC chair because that's his puppet. He knows it's going to be a puppet for him. He's going to rewrite the rules to favor him. That's the only reason he cares about Keith Ellison, because Keith Ellison would have been a horrible DNC chair. And I said that at the time. Everybody gave me shit, all the Bernie people. I said would be a horrible DNC chair. He's got way too many scandals. Voila, a year later, a scandal comes out about him. That's what Republicans wanted. They wanted him to be DNC chair, and then there'd be a scandal come out about him, and he'd have to spend a year defending it. Bernie doesn't care about any of that shit. He just wants a puppet in charge. They don't give him that, but they let Keith Ellison be deputy chair. And Tom Perez goes out of his way to do basically what Bernie wants him to do and give him every advantage in the world. Then in 2020, he needs the Democratic Party again, so now he's a Democrat again. And he's running under the assumption that everything is rigged against him and he can't get a fair shake. This is bullshit. This has got to stop. This is what his fans have been promoting for 4 years. This is sour grapes at its finest, okay? He lost fair and square in 2016. Their biggest beef is that they found hacked DNC emails with Debbie Wasserman Schultz and some others that just plainly said, we prefer Hillary to him, which is not a fucking mystery. That if you shit on the DNC for 30 fucking years, they're not going to want to help you that much. But that doesn't mean that they helped Hillary necessarily. The grand total of helping Hillary seemed to be some of the debate scheduling, which again didn't matter. People keep thinking these debates fucking matter, these primary debates. Joe Biden has just about flopped at every single one of the debates. He's still got a huge fucking lead in the polls. He forces Hillary to keep the debate schedule that she agreed to back when it looked like it was going to be a contest, even though he lost. So at that point, when she's won, having more and more debates where he hits her as hard as he can, all that is giving Trump ammunition, so I don't blame her for not wanting to keep that. And they found some other emails being like, oh, we should concoct a scheme against Bernie. This is the equivalent of like people talking shit on Facebook, being like, hey, that guy at work that I can't stand, we should spread a rumor that he's got herpes. Hey, you don't do it. you just fucking talk crap like you're gonna do it. But they never actually did any of the stuff that they talked about. But that got buried in the fact that Julian Assange and the Russians wanted to hurt Hillary. So it became this narrative of our guy didn't win, even though he was never going to. But we believed he was going to because we love him, and so it must be that evil bitch witch Hillary Clinton, between skinning the Dalmatians alive for their fur coat, it must have been her, Cruella de Vil herself, Cruella de Clinton, that stopped him from being the nominee somehow because she cheated, because that's who she is. And Republicans have told me that for 30 years, and I believe them because she's a cheater. But in 2016, he was a Democrat after 30 years of crapping on him. In 2018, he's an independent when he doesn't need him. In 2020, again, he's a Democrat because he needs him to be the nominee. And in between now and then, he got a bunch of rules changed that favor him, and he's been given every fucking thing he's ever asked for. So shut the fuck up that it's being rigged against him when he's receiving preferential treatment. I've never seen people bend over backwards for somebody who's not even in the Democratic Party like this. This is absurd. This would be like somebody saying, I want to be the president of that labor union. Okay, well, you just got to be a dues-paying member for a year. Fuck that. I want to be the president of that labor union now, and I don't want to pay a single penny of dues. Okay, well, I guess we could do that, but people still have to elect you. We're not going to appoint you to the membership. No. If you vote and I don't win, it's rigged against me, even though I've never been a member and don't pay my dues and have had no interest in it, and I've crapped all over the whole union. If I don't win, it's rigged against me.